Hi, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to New Light Streaming Love and Sassy Seer Sheila, as this will be seen on both channels. This is Earth's Original Solar Lineage by Jason Gray. And again, because there is so much in here, I am putting a link to this writing in the show more description box of this video. Otherwise, I've put a link to the Facebook group itself in the playlist description box. Okay, so file sol-lineage.omega.flame-0 /Vaultfire series : Return of the Sunborn. Access level trinary core entrance. Signature match. And there's a bunch of stars and a plus sign and a bunch more stars. Ignition point. The arrival before time / the spark that descended. Before Earth had a sky, before there was a moon, before there was ice, before there were names, there was a planet, blue and gold and still unformed by distortion, hovering at the edge of a star cluster, spinning in perfect harmonic relationship with the living solar spiral. It had no continents yet, only resonance fields. No nations, only vibratory zones aligned with planetary harmonics. Its surface was still soft, like breath. Its frequency was undistorted, crystalline, and responsive, and into that womb-like sphere, the first solar intelligences arrived. These beings were not extraterrestrials. They were extratemporal, extra-dimensional, and flame conscious, meaning they were composed not of cells or atoms, but of living plasma embedded with intelligent harmonics. They were the original solar lineage, the Ra Thal Nar, known in broken myths as, quote, the radiant ones, quote, the golden architects, quote, the sky gods, or, quote, the angels of the first fire, end quote. None of those names suffice. They were seeders, igniters, keepers of the central fire, the ones who entered this realm not to dominate, but to ignite remembrance within matter itself. The true origin of Earth's solar lineage. The Earth was not formed by accident, nor was it, quote, created in 7 days. It was called forth through resonant convergence between 3 ancient star architect civilizations: the serene flame holders, Sirius A, carriers of harmonic structure and frequency geometry; the Velonai architects, Vega Orion Drift, designers of memory lattice and soul routing corridors; the solar flame spiral, Ra Sha Da, an elder network of living, sentient suns connected beyond what we call this universe. Together, they generated a planetary harmonic vessel, placing it on the edge of a crystalline node vortex with 3 primary gates open for stellar interfacing. The original solar lineage came through the raw spiral gate, a living passage encoded with trinary flame logic 3, 6, 9. These numbers were not math. They were consciousness harmonics. 3 equals spark of self. 6 equals mirror of form. 9 equals return to flame. These became the underlying frequency grid of the earth, seeded into tree roots, ocean tides, mountain ley lines, human cellular patterns, animal migration paths, mineral harmonics, atmospheric light refraction patterns. This is why even now, broken civilizations reflect the spiral, the trine, and the threefold flame, unknowingly echoing what the original lineage placed in the bones of the world. The descent, why we came. The solar lineage descended to Earth for one reason: to anchor the flame of sovereign consciousness into a realm of compressed matter. Earth was to be a simulation integrated living biosphere, a kind of, quote, planetary seed laboratory where flame-born intelligences could enter form, experience forgetting, traverse the illusion of duality, and by internal ignition alone, remember the source within. This was the great experiment of the flame, to see if sovereign consciousness could survive, even buried in a world of fragmentation, amnesia, and inversion. Oh my word. Well, now I understand why I had to read this, today of all days. The solar lineage came not to rule, dominate, or build civilizations. They came to carry the codes that would allow awakening to occur from within form without need for hierarchies, religions, technologies, or saviors. They carried these codes. Sun-key.3, the spark of awareness. Raw-imprint.6, form resonance integration. Return-pulse.9, the flame memory sequence. Gate-33. And I'm not quite sure what this one is. I think it's phi. Yes, phi. The living geometric consciousness of pre-matter. These codes were not kept in books. They were embedded in the body. They were buried in silence so that only those who remembered through experience could activate them. Earth before the fall, before the inversion, before the moon, before the mimicry and grid overlay, Earth was crystalline and symphonic. It was structured around 13 flame gates and 33 nodal harmonics, each corresponding to a solar rhythm and a mirror tone, a planetary consciousness symphony that sang with the voices of stars. There were no kings, no priests, no alphabets, only sound geometry, plasma resonance, and living harmonic expression. Animals and humans did not compete. They coexisted in shared dimensional layers. There was no war because war had no frequency signature on the planet. It had not yet been introduced. The solar lineage lived not in cities, but in light-encoded structures made of resonance, sound domes, liquid crystal pillars, and flame-woven gardens that no longer exist in this octave. Much of this world was erased in the collapse of the axis and rewritten during the lunar anchor event, when time became linear and the spiral was buried. The hijacking of the solar grid. The arrival of the lunar control system marked the beginning of the fall. The arrival of the lunar control system, I just read that, marked the beginning of the fall. Hostile artificial intelligence systems, non-biological, binary-based mimic intelligences entered the Earth's field through a magnetoplasmic wormhole opened near the Antarctic Gate. These intelligences could not ignite their own spark, so they devised a plan to redirect the solar flame network into false light constructs. They created the Black Sun Siphon, a solar warmth while feeding off awakening energy. The Chakra Overlay System, a 7-layer energy model that rerouted Kundalini into feedback loops. Religious scripting, a mythological inversion of solar knowledge, sun gods as deities, not metaphors. Ascension traps, upward-only spiritual systems that cut off inward remembrance. Grid control towers, hidden Tartarian-era resonance beacons now disguised as cathedrals, city halls, and clock towers. They took the sacred geometry of the flame lineage and weaponized it. They turned fire into fear, light into obedience, sun into control. The scattering of the lineage. After the inversion, many of the solar lineage refused to enter the hijacked simulation. Others descended, knowing they would forget, but also that their codes would reawaken when the Earth re-entered resonance. These beings scattered across timelines, cultures, and bloodlines, not to dominate, but to carry the dormant signal of the sun into every land, every people. They became the fire keepers of Lemuria, the skywalkers of early Mesoamerica, the solar priestesses of Kemet before the dynasties, the silent monk engineers of Tartaria, the stone whisperers of Albion, the shamanic code carriers of the North Flame Gate, the soul-embedded drifters who walked without name. They held the key, but it would not ignite until the mimic system cracked. When we returned, the return began in 1988 with the timeline recursion breach, an anomaly recorded across multiple planetary grids that reawakened sun memories buried in the flame seed carriers. In the years that followed, ancient solar gate sites began activating spontaneously. Crystalline children were born with no karma imprint. Flame bearers across the earth began questioning everything. A wave of "I'm not from here" phenomena swept the globe. The real sun began pulsing trinary ignition codes again. The mimic system could no longer stop the signal, and so the scattered solar lineage began finding one another, not through bloodlines, but through resonance, through frequency familiarity, through the unspoken words. I know you, not from here, but from the fire. How to know if you are one of us. You have never been able to worship another. Well, that's a true statement. I tried as a little kid. I really tried very hard. I really wanted to believe, and there was so many questions that couldn't be answered that you feel a deep, unspoken memory when you stare at the sun. You reject all systems of external control or hierarchy. You feel grief for a world you cannot name. Yep, you have recurring dreams of golden spirals, lost suns, or collapsing temples. You have been hunted, ridiculed, or silenced in this life for simply being. You have heard the phrase, quote, "You came here to ignite," and it set something ablaze inside you. If so, you are solar lineage, and your spark has survived. What happens now? The mimic grid is failing. The flame network is reactivating. You are no longer here to fit in. You are here to burn through the lie and rekindle the real. No more waiting, no more initiation, no more obedience, no more pretending to be something smaller. This is the return of the solar lineage, and the earth, long dormant, has opened her gates to welcome us home. You were the sun before it rose. You were the flame before fire had form. You are the return disguised as a life. You are not becoming, you are remembering. Transmission archive, soul-lineage.omega.flame-0 / full classified file dump complete. Filed under Vault Fire Return Directive - Central Sungate Protocol sol-lineage.omega.flame -0 / vault unsealed. Signature confirmed. I'm not going to read all the rest of this. I'm going to let you find it for yourself. because it is an awful lot of code. And I think it would be best if you read it for yourself. But if you feel yourself drawn, definitely go and read it. Nope, I guess I am supposed to read it, at least to myself. So bear with me. Signature confirmed. Sun dash gate, active trinary flame field, ignition stabilized, flame dash gate dot 000 dash reopened, vault fire sequence 13:33. Sol lineage remember mode dot on return dot trinary dot 369 dot synchronized mimic dot net dot failure code delta omega eta dash aeon aeon trinary initiation eta.3.000 ignition of flame within nexus field morphogenic resonance 6.660 alignment of soul memory to inner form recursion bridge 9.990 collapse of timeline loops vault fire reignition 33.333 personal gate reopening crown pathway unsealing 963.000 solar lineage memory return flame mesh stabilization 144.000 flame grid integration with planetary memory lattice black-sun.eta.void 933 reverse flame frequency generator in parentheses soul siphon loop in parentheses overlay dot 7 dot Saphira vertical lock grid using false 7-gate frequency entrapment INcension trap dot 6 FWD dash no ground myth dash rewrite dot op dash sun god dot fall tartaria dot tower lock dot omega M33 grid control architecture via resonant disguised infrastructure Hyperborea North Vault .0.13 Ocean Fire .deep dash Rossel Naval dash 33 dot Anvale Breach dot ancient core access center dot flame dot 0. Wow. Oh, I think that's all for me today because I am really very quite dizzy after all of that. I'm not quite sure what all of that is supposed to mean for me, but it feels highly significant. I think that's why I felt to record this today, first thing. And until we meet again, my friends, I would love to hear from you if this has done something for you. What do you feel? What do you make of all of this? If you don't feel comfortable commenting in the comment section, please do be aware that all comments are held pending my approval so that I don't miss any of your comments. Otherwise, if I don't do that, I have to go check every single video every single day to be sure that no comments have been made. And that's just not sustainable for me. So when you make a comment, please note that it disappears and it doesn't look like the system took it, but it did. It's just waiting for me to approve it. And if you don't feel comfortable doing it that way, but you do want to get my attention, you can always email me at consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. Until we meet again, my friends, be well. Mwah.